Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our podcast.
Today we're discussing 3 underrated Halloween movies that really deserve more attention and go on your Halloween watch list.
Those movies are Monster House, Igor, and the already beloved Nightmare Before Christmas.
So let's start with Monster House.
Yes, I absolutely love this movie. The very first time we watched it, we didn't see it in theaters, but I watched it on DVD first. I think I watched it without you first because you were really, really little.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, probably. Cause
and
I think that was before they started airing it on TV every year.
let's see, it came out in 2006. Yes, and I thought it was absolutely brilliant. It was just brilliant from beginning to end.
Mm-hmm.
It was entertaining. It was suspenseful, and you had a twist you didn't expect in the end at all.
Mm-hmm.
The characters were great, fleshed out. The voice actors that were hired to voice the characters were really good, and the kids sounded like kids, even though I think Mitchell Musso was in there, the one who played Everybody Hates Chris's best friend, and so he was a kid then too. Phineas Ferb.
Oh, that's a different. Yeah, he was in here. I don't know which character he was doing, but I don't think he was the kid. I think he was one
a
of
kid.
the teenagers.
Yes, but I'm saying
okay.
he was a kid. That's what I mean. He was a kid.
Okay.
And the ones who were in there doing kids' voices sounded like kids, which was really great. But this movie was just brilliant, and I loved it so much that finally when I saw it go on sale last year for $5, I jumped on it. So now I can see it every year or whenever I want. And still watching it each time so far is like watching it all over again. Even though I know the ending, it's still suspenseful and it's still entertaining and engaging watching what happens.
Right.
So you finally got to see it for the first time last year.
Mm-hmm. Well, actually, yeah, and I think saw it, like you said, some point in DVD, and then they start airing it every year for Halloween, kind of like with Scary Godmother, Night Before Christmas, a bunch of other, I guess, traditional stuff they air every year on these networks, and this is one of them. Fortunately, they cut it down a little bit for commercials when they do it live. But if you get the DVD, you don't miss anything.
Right.
And from beginning to end, like you said, it's really interesting. Even though it's a horror movie, it's not just like rampant gore, violence, and blood like some of these horror movies now. There's at least a story, there's suspense, there's still some scary imagery, but it's not something where it has to be scary just by being just disturbing. It was just like one big mystery, basically.
And you know, the cerebralness of it sneaks up on you. You don't realize it's making you think. You don't realize that you're being guided into using your mind and seeing correlations and clues and things, and it takes you from beginning to end, and it walks you along this conveyor belt, and you are being guided every step of the way. Your emotions, your attention, and everything are being guided, and that's what makes it so brilliant. From beginning to end, you are like on this ride at an amusement park.
Yeah.
With a happy ending.
And one thing we all thought was weird is that all this stuff was going on, all this noise with the house, and apparently they think the house is alive. Which when you start watching, it's like, yeah, it's definitely alive. But people in the neighborhood, when all this noise was going around, no one said anything.
Right?
No, they had the police there, they had all these people there, the parents were out of town, but all these people there, and no one heard all the roaring and the screaming and the hollering and stuff. No one heard a thing. As soon as said, "Oh, what's going on over there? Are these kids okay?" No one said a word. Everyone just stayed inside. Guess they still let them handle it.
Right. I just wanted to get this right. I am correct. Mitchell Musso was DJ, who was the main character. Sam Lerner was his best friend, and Spencer Locke was Jenny, the girl that he really, really had a crush on.
Okay.
So it was wonderful.
Wow.
The cast. And then they had some great heavy hitters, not only that are great voice actors, but also live action heroes like Steve Buscemi, who is just awesome in everything he does. He went from being character actor to a main character actor, which is awesome because he always had the talent and the chops for it. You had Nick Cannon, who was great in his role, Maggie Gyllenhaal, Kevin James, who we all know and love, Jason Lee, Dave from Chipmunks, Catherine O'Hara from Home Alone, who played the mom, and also from Saturday Night Live, Kathleen Turner, who was a favorite amongst probably your grandparents, my parents, and Fred Willard, who you know from doing just enormous amounts of voice acting in animation.
Right.
So this was just a stellar cast, a stellar story, great animation. The characters looked a little odd. They were a little different in the way they were animated in the face and the way the faces moved. But all in all, this is a terrific movie. This is absolutely one I would definitely recommend. If you've never seen it, you got to see it. You will love it and will become one of your favorites forever.
Yes. It's definitely you want to watch every year, just like a lot of these other Halloween movies.
Definitely.
So next up is Igor.
Oh, yes.
That was, I actually learned about
a Disney film.
Huh?
A Disney film.
It is?
I thought Igor was a Disney film.
I think it's Warner Brothers.
Really?
But it wasn't a commercial success. That's kind of why you don't really hear about it.
That's too bad.
They advertised a little bit, and like Monster House, it had a big star cast, but I don't think they advertised as much because of this concept. Yeah, it didn't do well at box office, and it wasn't commercially.
It's French American, that's why.
Yeah, it wasn't commercially great.
Steve Buscemi again.
Yeah, and it.
It sure did, and that's horrible.
Yeah, and I think that's why it's not as well known. People definitely heard of the movie. I think that's why it didn't do well because it wasn't advertised that much.
It was also a French American film.
Yeah, right. And they had a big star cast, but you barely knew about it. I only knew about it because a friend of mine at a flea market actually has seen the movie and showed it to me, and I thought it was hilarious. And then I finally got to see the movie on its own, and it was really, really good. And usually they focus on, it's supposed to be like the Igor is a term for a mad scientist assistant rather than just one person. And in here, there's like a mad scientist expo where the scientists of a city, they create their own monsters, and they have this sort of like a talent competition. Who created the best monster of them all? Who is the maddest scientist of all? And everyone has an Igor with them, no matter male or female, what they look like. If they were your assistant, and they say yes, master, and that's one of your requirements for becoming an Igor. And that was pretty much just there to assist them, and that's it. And they were kind of dumb. But this Igor was really a genius, but he was never taken seriously because the Igors don't think. So when the scientist gets killed off by accident, he decides to enter and make his own monster, and so he could be taken seriously as a mad scientist. And he had his own Igors, but they weren't like him. He had like a rabbit that could come back to life no matter what he did to himself. It was kind of like the dark humor in there. He was voiced by Steve Buscemi, and he would axe himself off multiple times in the movie, and the helmet brought him back to life, and he couldn't escape what he was doing, so that was part of the dark humor. And then they had Jay Leno was this robot with one arm that kind of reminded me of Pleakley, and they were like pretty much his two assistants, and they helped him build this, I guess you could say, a Bride of Frankenstein. And when it didn't work out well, they put them in this, it was a brainwashing salon. So if they needed to think something, they would sit in this like relaxing place, and they would do Clockwork Orange style like brainwashing. But someone messed up, the footage turned into a monster, and she was watching all this pageant stuff and Marilyn Monroe movies, and it was all theater. So when they were trying to get her to be scary, it's it was a little too scary, and all of a sudden she said, "Oh really? Was that too much? I'm so sorry. Maybe I should just take it down." They were looking like, what? Because they're not supposed to speak or do anything she's doing. She wanted to be an actress, and she loved the theater and the music, and she was really sophisticated and kind-hearted, and they were like, oh! So it was just a hilarious take on that type of movie and that type of formula, dealing with Frankenstein and Igor, of course.
I'm going to have to say, and I like being totally honest with you guys, I totally confused this with the Disney movie. And I was thinking of that movie. I don't remember ever seeing this movie. But now you make it sound so fun. I've got to see it. I've never seen this movie.
I never knew there was a Disney version of Igor. That's probably why I didn't know it.
I've never seen this movie. So now I have something else to take joy in and watch with you again.
Yeah.
I am just sitting here with my mouth open listening because... like, this isn't the movie I thought it was. So, history making. We got Wires Crossed. Paws On Animation.
You were born to make history.
Viewer down.
Yeah, it was a really, really fun movie. I'm sorry it didn't get a lot of attention, nor, didn't do well the box office, and it wasn't well known. I think because the concept was so odd, but it was hilarious.
Like it has a brilliant cast. I mean, of course, as I told you, Steve Buscemi, always. Arsenio Hall, Sean Hayes, John Cleese, and Jennifer Coolidge, who we've seen in so much, including what you love, Legally Blonde, and Christian Slater, who I'm familiar with. So, yes, I have got to see this movie. If you guys, any of you have seen it, comment and let Rascal know what you think of it, because Mama's never seen it.
Right,
and now her Mama has something to put on her
must have just bought it. I could have sworn you had seen it. I guess not.
I'm listening to you and I'm like, this sounds like fun. I've never seen this movie. I'm confusing this. If I'm almost positive Disney has an Igor movie. If not, then I'm confusing with the Hunchback of Notre Dame. Either way, I'm thinking of the wrong movie.
Okay. But yes, you gotta check out this movie if you haven't. You probably haven't because, like I said, it's not well known. Once you watch it, it is absolutely hilarious, and I'm glad that I was able to see it and my friend showed me it.
So now I look forward to seeing this this month. And I will let you know in the comments below what Mama thinks.
All right. So now we move on to our third and last movie, which everyone knows, The Nightmare Before Christmas,
which has become a well-beloved movie. I mean, it was so different and so unusual, and so the animation style was one that wasn't typically one that was chosen to use for especially a big budget animation film.
Right.
You have this guy Tim Burton who has his totally different way of doing movies, and then he picked some people that really, except for that weren't really big in doing animated voiceovers at the time, like Catherine O'Hara, Danny Elfman, Chris Sarandon. These are not people you normally would choose, but all these different odd elements worked, and you love the movie. It was very cheap to make in terms of box office. It took $18 million to make this stop action movie, and it grossed during the time it came out over $76 million.
Right. And it's become, I think originally it was a cult classic, but now, as you said, it's like pop culture status now.
Definitely.
And Disney originally wanted, but when they saw, they were like, it's going to be too dark and scary, so they put it under a different name through a different place called Touchstone Pictures.
Right.
So they didn't want that ran with Disney, and then they get in trouble for releasing something scary. Once they saw the movie successful, then they're like, oh wait, yeah, we did this. We did this movie. What company is that? We did this.
And not only did it become a beloved movie by all ages, but it cemented Tim Burton as a big heavy hitter in Hollywood.
Right. And known for making great children horror movies where it could still be scary, there's still a mystery, but it's not so intense to where the kids can't watch it. They still make it fun. I guess like if the goth kid made a movie for you.
That's a perfect description, because when I watched it, I didn't find it scary. I found it odd and strange.
Right, endearing.
But at the same time, yes, endearing, and at the same time beautiful. I know it sounds odd, but looking at the animation and the care that was taken in designing these different characters, and the clothes they had on, and the background and everything, it's a beautifully animated. It really is.
And the songs have become really iconic with the story, because for the few people who don't know about the movie, Jack Skellington is in this place called Halloween Town. Apparently, there's a whole all these different mythical towns dedicated to all these holidays. But you only get to see this one, so that sucks. But they have Halloween Town is with all these monsters and creatures you would see on Halloween night, and he's the Pumpkin King. And he's tired of doing the same thing every year and the same scares, and he gets trapped in Christmas Town, and he sees how vibrant and colorful it is and look fun, and he wants to take over that holiday, but not in a mean-spirited way, just that he wants to do something different. He wants to bring joy to kids too, because Halloween doesn't bring joy, mostly terror. And they kidnap Santa Claus, and he takes over for him just for these. Oh, it's just for this year, and he takes over, and when he starts doing the holiday, he sees how much hard work it is, and he's got this thing where it's like a form, and he's trying to understand what is Christmas, because he's got all the technical terms where he has all these books and stuff, and the costume, he explains everyone what it is, but he's always telling you what is Christmas, because he's Halloween, he doesn't understand what that is, and he's kind of racking his brain out trying to figure out what is Christmas.
But again, this is just a perfect movie. It is from beginning to end. Everything is perfect. And also, this was like a wake-up call for Hollywood. Whereas, as you said, Disney was afraid of it, thinking it would not be a commercial success and people wouldn't want to see it. They learned from this movie, you don't judge a book by its cover. Don't sit and think that simply because something is not the norm or something people normally would do, that you should not take a chance on it and invest in people. And again, this was back in 1993 when this came out. So now this is the norm. This is nothing different, nothing unusual. But back when this came out, no, this was just totally, totally unheard of, and just a shock to the, I guess, cinematic system. Yeah. But it paid off. And Touchstone Pictures, thank you so much for investing in Tim Burton and taking that chance, because again, he's beloved. The movie's beloved, and he's beloved.
Yeah, and every movie, that comes out, he does. People are just racing to see it, because he has just immense talent with his movies and the storytelling, and blending in horror or spookiness with kid-friendly stuff, and your kids aren't terrified when they watch it. It's the great blend.
And now I've seen live-action movies he's done, like Edward Scissorhands, The Barber of Seville, which has a different theatrical name, that Sweeney Todd. And those movies are excellent. They're not for children, but they're excellent. The only movie that I didn't care for that Tim Burton has done is the theatrical Dark Shadows. It just wasn't for me. But everything else that he's done is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And he's going to be around a long time. Again, thank you, Touchstone Pictures. Thank you, Tim Burton, for this vision that you have that what we love. We absolutely love.
And to prove even further that the film is so iconic, everybody I know on YouTube has done some version of this movie, whether it's a trailer, a cast. They're doing the 2 songs, the This Is Halloween, which is incredibly catchy, which in itself reveals how the Halloween Town people are. They're just scary for the holiday, and they're actually quite lovely people. And the what's this song? Yeah, those are the 2 songs that really stand out for the movie, and people really love doing in their videos. And people even want to dedicate full mashup versions, remixes, and all sorts of versions of these songs, because they're just that iconic for this film.
I think also what is really just wonderful is, again, it was meant as a Halloween movie, but people watch this now anytime. And I know of people personally online who watch this at Christmas. This is a Christmas movie for them. They actually love this movie that much. So, again, the big lesson for Hollywood: don't categorize, don't pigeonhole, don't decide for the audience what is too scary for them or something they won't like. Don't be afraid to go big and go different. So, thank you.
Yeah. So if you haven't heard of any 3 of these movies, or if you have heard of some of them, rewatch them for Halloween, because they're really perfect to watch during that time of year.
Definitely.
And if you haven't seen them, please check them out, whether it's October or not. All 3 are fantastic movies, very memorable, very lovable. It's something you want to keep watching, just as you would holiday movies in December, and possibly even do a mashup or 2 of them. All 3 are fantastic movies.
Well, I can't wait to watch Igor, since I've never seen it. And if you've never seen it, watch it, and we will both give our opinions in the comments below.
Yes. So, thanks.
All, I should say.
Yeah. So, thanks for watching, guys. I'm Ask Entertainment.
And I'm Mom Entertainment.
Have a toontastic day.
Peace.
And a spooky weekend.
And reporters sitting, flashing lights, trying to walk around, man, who the hell are you? What you wanna do? Well, man, it's on you. Man, it's on you. Hit her in my dreams, she was my queen. A castle in the mountaintops, rivers and streams. Plucking sunlight from the sky in my pocket, give it to you later on in the form of a